What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a look at Flintlock Siege of Dawn, which just recently, at the event showcases last weekend, received an official release date of July 18th, but at the same time, because this week has been Steam Next Fest, they dropped a demo for that, which you could play through and check out for yourself, which is where I'm getting all of this footage from, and to be honest, it's a very good demo. I think people should play it, and when this video goes live, there will be a couple more days for you to check it out for yourself. But I personally had been watching this one for a few years. It was actually supposed to be out quite some time ago, but got delayed pretty heavily, whereas now we finally have that release date. And given that it's releasing in July, it's pretty much the only new release that I have slated for that month, because everything else has yet to be announced in terms of release dates. But that's neither here nor there. So let's talk about Flintlock. So the best way to describe this game would probably be a third-person action-adventure with some souls-lite elements. Think something like God of War meets a few Souls-like mechanics here and there, and it all blends together surprisingly well. Like I said, the demo's pretty good. I especially enjoyed the way movement and combat flow together. But let's start at the beginning with the story of this one. Flintlock takes place in a world where gods, people, and the undead are often at odds with each other. In fact, there is a place known as the Door to the Great Below, through which the undead have been pouring out recently, which means armies have been fighting back, trying to stem the tide of that. But after an accident towards the start of the game, a few gods have been released back into the world, and have brought upheaval and danger with them. So our job, playing as Nor here, is to of course fight back, and we've got a little bit of help in the form of a lesser god known as Enki, who's going to help us out with some magical powers to augment our own swords and guns. We have a few difficulty options, sort of easy, normal, hard, that will of course make it adjustable, though I admittedly do wish this was more of a modular system that we see more and more these days, as I think adjusting things like, say, losing your reputation, the game calls it, but effectively your experience when you die, or how much of it to lose, etc., could be an interesting place to play around with since you're already looking at difficulty options. But speaking of, in terms of Souls-like elements, really all this game has in that regard is its experience system. It acts as both your money and your experience that you'll spend on abilities and the like, and when you die, you drop it, and you have to go pick it back up, otherwise it's completely lost. It also has a somewhat similar map structure where there will be checkpoints that you can rest at to either reset enemies, spend your skill points, check out your inventory, etc. So there's that. Now in pretty much every other way, it's more action-adventure than Souls-like, as we don't have things like a stamina bar or anything of that nature. But combat manages to be especially interesting because of the way it combines both your pistol and your axe on top of magical abilities once you pick up Enki. So you've got your melee weapon and your gun. Now later on in the demo, you'll actually get more of these, so there are different types of the axe and pistol that you can use, which do different things. In fact, I found one that caused burning damage instead of a base axe that increases damage as you hit subsequent attacks. And then later on still, in addition to your pistol that you can fire in combat as a sort of heavy attack alternative, I also picked up a musket that allows you to take long-range headshots at enemies at the expense of a very long reload time. So they're playing around with a few different things there. But in combat itself, you basically have your axe attacks, your pistol, and your magical abilities on top of eventually throwables and the like. Now in melee, you can do things like parry or block, and then as you get skills, you can do even more interesting stuff with this. For instance, there's one that allows you to counterattack with a pistol shot, but your pistol shots themselves are a bit limited. At a base here, we have 3, and attacking enemies or simply waiting a certain amount of time will recharge these. So you can't rely purely on that alone, even though it does do solid damage. Now, as you attack enemies, or you have Enki attack them, as he has a dedicated attack button as well, you can prime them. This is that sort of purple buildup on them. And once it maxes out, you can hit them with a big attack that, if they're wearing armor, will destroy it. If they have a shield, will get rid of it. And if it's a base enemy, it'll just straight up kill them. And all of that is fun on its own, but that's to say nothing of the traversal bits. So once you pick up Enki, he starts augmenting you with magic, which allows you to do things like use your black powder for your weapon and the like to give you extra height on your jumps, giving you a sort of triple jump when all is said and done. And then later on, he'll activate rifts for you that allow you to traverse great distances distances via things like shortcuts and unlocking secrets, and I enjoyed a great deal of that. But truth be told, I don't think my words do it justice, and in fact, this is why I think people should play the demo, because feeling how smooth all of that is together is really what sold the experience for myself. But we're not done yet, because then there's the gameplay and exploration side of things. So outside of combat, gameplay is mostly exploring these open areas that we can run through, and there we can do things like find materials for our upgrades. We can bring all of those materials plus a certain amount of reputation back to our camps and have our weapons upgraded to cause them to do more damage, of course. And we can also liberate towns and the like, so you'll occasionally run across little outposts and settlements that have been taken over by bandits or the like, and you can clear them out, including a boss fight with their leader, and once that's done, you'll officially unlock that sort of town hub area. In this area, we can do a few things. For starters, we can interact with this very strange looking creature at the inn who will increase the number of health charges you have. You can also buy some stuff there, such as cosmetic changes to your outfit, though there are more substantial armor upgrades as well. For instance, you'll eventually be able to get your hands on actual armor that will both alter your appearance as well as provide benefits, but there is a cosmetic portion from this also. And then another thing you can do in town is play their little mini game where your goal is to form a triangle with your pieces, with the opposing member trying to actively block your ability to do that. So a simple little mini game that happens to reward a lot of reputation for beating it, once per opponent anyway. So it looks like there's a fair bit to get up to, even outside of just the main story. Now, I'm not sure how much in terms of like side content they have planned, but overall, in terms of this, I would say roughly 2 to 5 hour demo they've provided people, I was pretty impressed with what I saw. I had a lot of fun with the combat especially, but the movement's great too. And it has me looking forward to playing the full release of this thing, which I think is the exact purpose of a demo. But I think that about does it for this particular video. Like I said, I will be reviewing this one in full come July when it releases, so hopefully you're excited for that. But by all means, do let me know what you think about this down in the comment section below, which naturally means to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.